Good morning. This is the Paradise Unicorn Priestess bringing you day 323 of A Course in Miracles, the Yin translation where we use female words. This would be November 19th if you're starting at the new year. Forgiveness for salvation. Forgiveness for salvation has one form and only one. It does not ask for proof of innocence, nor pay of any kind. It does not argue, nor evaluate the errors that it wants to overlook. It does not offer gifts in treachery, nor promise freedom while it asks for death. Would God deceive you? She but asks for trust and willingness to learn how to be free. She gives her teacher to whoever asks and seeks to understand the will of God. Her readiness to give lies far beyond your understanding and your simple grasp. Yet she has willed you learn the way to her, and in her willing there is certainty. You, child of God, the gifts of God are yours, not by your plans, but by her holy will. Her voice will teach you what forgiveness is, and how to give it as she wills it be. Do not then seek to understand what is beyond you yet, but let it be a way to draw you up to where the eyes of Christ become the sight you choose. Give up all else, for there is nothing else. When someone calls for help in any form, she is the one to answer for you. All that you need do is to step back and not to interfere. Forgiveness for salvation is her task, and it is she who will respond for you. Do not establish what the form should be that Christ's forgiveness takes. She knows the way to make of every call a help to you, as you arise in haste to go at last unto your mother's house. Now she can make your footsteps sure, your words sincere, not with your own sincerity, but with her own. Let her take charge of how you would forgive, and each occasion then will be to you another step to heaven and to peace. Are you not weary of imprisonment? God did not choose this sorry path for you. What you have chosen still can be undone, for prayer is merciful and God is just. Hers is a justice she can understand, but you cannot as yet. Still will she give the means to you to learn of her and know at last that condemnation is not real and makes illusions in its evil name. And yet it matters not the form that dreams may seem to take. Illusions are untrue. God's will is truth, and you are one with her in will and purpose. Here all dreams are done. What should I do for her, your holy child? Should be the only thing you ever ask when help is needed and forgiveness sought. The form the seeking takes, you need not judge. And let it not be you who sets the form in which forgiveness comes to save God's child. The light of Christ in her is her release, and it is this that answers to her call. Forgive her as the Christ decides you should, and be her eyes, through which you look on her and speak for her as well. She knows the need, the question, and the answer. She will say exactly what to do in words that you can understand and you can also use. Do not confuse her function with your own. She is the answer, you the one who hears. And what is it she speaks to you about? About salvation and the gift of peace, about the end of sin and guilt and death, about the role forgiveness has in her. Do you but listen, for she will be heard by anyone who calls upon her name and places her forgiveness in her hands. Forgiveness has been given her to teach, to save it from destruction, and to make the means for separation, sin, and death become again the holy gift of God. Prayer is her own right hand, made free to save as true forgiveness is allowed to come from her eternal vigilance and love. Listen and learn and do not judge. It is to God you turn to hear what you should do, Her answer will be clear as morning, nor is her forgiveness what you think it is. Still does she know, and that should be enough. Forgiveness has a teacher who will fail in nothing. Rest a while in this. Do not attempt to judge forgiveness, nor to set it in an earthly frame. Let it arise to Christ, who welcomes it as gift to her. She will not leave you comfortless, nor fail to send her angels down to answer you in her own name. She stands beside the door to which forgiveness is the only key. Give it to her to use instead of you, and you will see the door swing silently open upon the shining face of Christ. Behold your sister there beyond the door, the child of God as she created her. All right, forgiveness for salvation. It has one form and only one. This brings back this idea that only ego and the separation and the dream illusion create complexity. Endless, infinite complexity that maintains the separation. Heaven is so simple. Love is so simple. All of the forms that forgiveness to destroy takes makes sin real. It makes the harmful consequences real. But they are not real. And that is the thing that forgiveness for salvation acknowledges. It bypasses all of the illusion of harm and says the radical claim, it never happened. And in so doing, it never did. That is the miracle, the healing of all seeming harmful consequences. In today's passage, it is explained to us without reservation, without equivocation, that it is impossible for us, the separated off, tiny, infinitely small shard of God, to understand forgiveness and the absolute necessity of being in touch with the Christ, which is the oneness of all creation. All the shards of God are part of it. It is the one being that looks out through all eyes. So of course we would need to check in with that in order to know how to respond to what is seeming to be in our present moment in the dream illusion. How to enact forgiveness is given to us. We ask for it, and we are promised that we will receive it. There's this beautiful phrase in today's passage. Her readiness to give lies far beyond your understanding and your simple grasp. And we think of how much the one that is made of love wants to heal the separation and the suffering. How powerful must be that desire for harmony that then blends into unity. It's deceptive. The only reason we don't see it and sense it is because of how respectful it is of our sovereignty. It is only the ego that just tramples over all free will. The ego cares nothing for sovereignty. It cares nothing for respect of others. It is loud. It is blaring. It is obnoxious. It will use any aspect that it thinks would be effective. But love is not that way. Love waits for us to turn to it, give it our full attention, and enthusiastically embrace it. Love waits on us. We must invite it in. Love lives in the stillness of peace, not in the noise of chaos and complexity. This passage asks us to not seek to understand any of this, but to let ourselves be guided up to where the eyes of Christ are, that it become the sight that we choose, and to give up everything else, for there is nothing else. What would we want more than peace and harmony for all, for suffering to be done, because love has soothed what seemed to be harmful effects? All that is asked of us is to step back and not interfere with love, to accept that this is love's task. And as long as we remain but a fragment, we're not going to understand it. If we join with the whole and choose to look through her eyes, we may get a glimpse of things we never had considered before. But until we're ready to fully take it on and be the one, the understanding will still be beyond us. I love the story, The Last Unicorn. It is scripture to me. And I'm thinking of the wizard Schmendrick, who tries and tries to do all the various tricks that wizards learn that pass for magic. But Schmendrick seeks true magic, that which the Course calls the miracle. And it happens when Schmendrick lets go and says, magic, magic, do as you will. That's when the true magic happens, because there is a wisdom in love, and it was not understandable to the characters in the story while it was happening, not until the story had played itself out fully, and perhaps even then not fully understood. It is a beautiful story, one I always return to. This passage says that there is one question, and it's the only question that we need ask when there's a problem. When there's a problem, forgiveness is the only answer, but we don't understand forgiveness. We need guidance. So here's the question. What should I do for her, your holy child? That's it. We want guidance on how to heal the whole one child of God, of which the things that appear in the illusion are only tiny shards of, and they take on forms shrouded in illusions. We are seeking to dispel those illusions, for those illusions have been perpetuating the belief in separation. The light of Christ that is the tiny shard of God, at the center of all things that appear in the illusion, the light of those shards is the answer, and that's what will light up and respond to our asking. That light is the release of all the separate parts. We're reminded that the true form of prayer prays to the Christ that is in all things. One of the lessons in the workbook is, bless me, child of God. When we meet another that seems to be our enemy, we can ask for her blessing, for we are one, and she will not harm us. For the truth is, she loves us, and we love her. When we call upon love, it will not fail to answer, for it is the only thing that is real, and illusions melt in its presence. The passage today bids us listen and learn and do not judge, and it promises us her answer will be as clear as morning, nor is her forgiveness what you think it is. The gap we believe in so fervently between us and every other shard of God that seems impassable, it seems to us a dark and heavy door. Forgiveness is the key, and when it opens, we see the truth about our other selves, the beautiful divine love that is all that is there. After we review what is creation found in show notes, we go on to lesson 323. I gladly make the sacrifice of fear. Here is the only sacrifice you ask of your beloved child. You ask her to give up all suffering, all sense of loss and sadness, all anxiety and doubt, and freely let your love come streaming into her awareness, healing her of pain and giving her your own eternal joy. Such is the sacrifice you ask of me, and one I gladly make, the only cost of restoration of your memory to me for the salvation of the world. And as we pay the debt we owe to truth, a debt that merely is the letting go of self-deceptions and of images we worshipped falsely, truth returns to us in wholeness and in joy. We are deceived no longer. Love has now returned to our awareness, and we are at peace again, for fear has gone and only love remains. I would like to note that in today's lesson, the word sacrifice is in quotes, because as we know, God does not ask sacrifice of anyone. Cost is also in quotes. And that is our lesson for the day. Happy practicing.